So finally, we're gonna go down to the community question, which we should have talked about last week. So we're gonna talk about this week, and I gave the show an extra week just because I didn't post it up on social media for anybody else to participate. And
And you forgot
sadly,
again this
there's
week.
only and sadly there's
Oh,
only one person who sorry, I gotta find it now. Who participated in it? I do not want to switch accounts. So last week's community question, we asked, what franchise or game do you find that's overrated? Uh, does anyone want to start first? Kevin,
Kingdom Hearts.
is that for
I
real
was
on your
just,
list?
no. The game that
I wasn't even gonna fight you on that either because, like, dude, just
That's the
I
same
love the
thing.
game. But that fucking
That's the
story.
same thing if you guys had said Destiny. Like, to be honest, I get why people wouldn't like Destiny.
uh, to
oh,
say
Destiny's a good game.
overrated. Let me see. I can. I don't want to be boring and say Call of Duty because everybody says that game is overrated.
That's funny.
You know,
That was
not
actually
gonna
gonna be my
lie.
choice.
Huh?
And
I
by the
thought
way,
about.
I'm sorry, but by the way, since we have a little bit of extra time, we can pick two.
Okay. So right now, I would say I would say 2K, NBA 2K, overrated as hell. It
Really?
doesn't matter. Yeah, I find that game so overrated because it's literally for me, it's like a copy and paste, update stats, transfer into the next game. I feel like it's like even if you like add like different things, that game feels so like repetitive. Like I've
Hmm.
never seen a game that's repetitive, and then it just
Mhm.
keep getting thrown out every so often. And my second game would be I'm not gonna say all of Kingdom Hearts, but Kingdom Hearts 3 was extremely overrated. Like it by far like one of the most like biggest letdown I've ever experienced. It was almost as bad for me as the Duke Nukem thing, but it was bad. Like the story was the story was passable. I'm not. And it's not me coming at Randy. It's literally just how I personally felt about the game. But
Dude,
it's like,
the fact that you picked three, like, I totally agree with you. Like, had you said two, then I would have fought with you,
bro. First of all, you're
off
my Kingdom
camera.
Hearts 2 brother. You're definitely my Kingdom Hearts 2 brother. Like
Yeah,
off rip.
but
So
two is peak. Three,
two,
it wasn't worth the wait at all. So I like
it,
100% agree with you. I
yeah, and
fucking hated it. The only good part was the ending, Monsters Inc. and Toy Story.
nah, my
I
favorite part is
messed
the
up the
credits.
order. It's Toy Story, the ending, and Monsters Inc.
By
I
far,
like
mine's
Toy
is.
Story. I like the Toy Story part a lot. Actually, I
Toy
had a lot
Story
of
was
fun.
amazing.
Can I tell you what my
Yeah,
favorite part is? The
just
credits.
the room when you first.
Just the credits. Just them rolling and be like, yeah, I did it. Like yeah, Call of 2K and Kingdom Hearts
Kingdom Hearts
3.
3.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Three,
yeah,
yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
3.
Okay. So what about you, Randy?
I'm gonna like slightly touch on the whole Toy Story thing because I know that like Danny wanted to say something about that too. Um, just for like a brief minute, if anything, the Toy Story level did what Kingdom Hearts 2 did as an entirety, where it had its own individual story that was the movie with Kingdom Hearts, not like
Mm.
how to put it. It meshed it
Oh,
well as opposed to the Frozen level, which was the movie featuring
Oh my
Sora, Donald, and
god,
Goofy.
and that was the worst. It
it
was
felt
Yes,
Yeah, you're right.
that was the most
The
forced
Frozen.
part.
It
yeah,
was so forced.
you
You could
were
tell
actually the one that told me that they postponed the game a bit to put the Frozen level into
Yeah.
it. No,
Yeah, they
yeah.
did.
Anyways, so
Granted,
Frozen was
community
the
that
question.
reason why it was delayed.
that is that will be the scene I show my kids when I want them to play and give them the video game. So,
Hey, you like Frozen? Watch this.
watch this. You want to play? Keep going.
For overrated, I'm definitely gonna have to say Call of Duty because that one's like a fucking carbon
Yeah,
copy all the
yeah,
time. It's
Hmm.
yeah.
boring.
I agree. I don't understand how people keep playing these fucking games. It's the same thing. It's like playing PvP just over and over and over and over and over and over and over. I mean, the storyline's like 2 hours long, and then yeah,
Murder everyone, die. You know what I mean? Like I get it. For me personally, the only reason I played Call of Duty, it's because of zombies, and I love the story of just zombies itself. I don't even like the Call of Duty. It's like the multiplayer, whatever. Zombie has such a like embedded story into my soul that I have to play every iteration of it, even if it's bad. So that's the reason I let that slide. But Call of Duty is bad. Like I can
Hmm.
agree with that. I definitely agree.
And I guess for individuality's sake, Overwatch.
Never
Ooh.
played it.
Even if it's not a thing that like people still like talk about now, when it did come out,
It's
it
still a big
was.
PvP game.
Gotcha.
Oh well, I mean, I figured as much. Like I haven't played it for the past, I'd say like 4, almost 5 years. Oh, I got a burp. Sorry. Um. So yeah, like at the time, it was still very overrated. The fact that it come out with the sequel, like, first off, you don't fucking need Overwatch 2. That's literally making League of Legends 2. Like, just make new characters, add it to the same fucking base game. That's it. Like, you're done.
Okay, wait. I have to defend them with this part. So you have to keep in mind, though, there are a lot of things about Overwatch 1 that, begin to get old, stale, obsolete, whatever you want to call it. And they want to change things up. And I get that a lot of people could just say that you want to just throw a new skin in, like not literally like a character skin, but like a new fresh paint on the game. It's not that simple to do, especially when you want to change so much about the game, because they're also adding a big story, single player story mode into the game. So there's a lot of stuff that they have to change, along with the how do you say the game engine and everything like that. So making a sequel actually benefits them more, mostly just so they can start fresh from scratch in order to make the game more stable, as opposed to like throwing in a bunch of new features and stuff and then having to fix everything and patch everything over and over and over again. And I bring that up because Destiny actually did have the same issue with that, which is the reason why they released a part 2, is because they did Destiny 1 for 3 years. We still connected here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Destiny went on. The first Destiny went on for 3 years, and Bungie had a really hard time making content because their game engine that they were using was really broken. On top of that, they were still trying to catch up with everything that they had lost, which is story wise, writing wise, dialogue wise, all that stuff, because they had a bunch of issues before the game even released. So making it part 2, they made they didn't make a new engine, but they used a new engine in order to relearn it and make a better working game. So making a sequel was the best option in order to make a better version of the game that they wanted to make.
Okay.
And I can see that they're doing the same
Yeah.
concept for Overwatch too, because it needs that. It's only so much you can do with that fucking first game. That's why I stopped playing it, because it became super repetitive, and
Yeah.
I didn't get, like, I agree that it's overrated as well. I mean, I didn't get the big hype about it. Even you gotta play it so far. I'm like, no,
Yeah, I loved
I
it,
played an
but
hour. I'm good,
yeah.
but
My,
after an hour you get the same shit.
my thing with that is that, like, I feel like that I'm not saying like it's an excuse, but it sounds like an excuse, because Rainbow Six Siege is a game that everybody here can agree that game seems like there's nothing there, but they add new characters. The game seems
Yeah.
and it's like it's the first game, so it's like if Rainbow Six Siege did it, and it's basically like a strategic Call of Duty, like like I'm not saying it is, but I'm just saying like what it feels like. It's And then if they can do it, then I don't know. I just felt like, well, I agree with what Randy was saying with the just add people, fix the engine. But then I agree with you guys that it's like the game itself is not. It's not the most stable, I would guess. Like even if they add new characters, the game is just going to be unbalanced, and then they have to rebalance it and then fix the game. But like starting over, I just feel like that's, I don't know, like they could just make like an Overwatch Ultimate Edition or something, and then just like fix it like every other game has been doing.
And it's all about money too. On top
Yeah.
of that, it is still a business. So making a sequel will also bring a lot of money. But you do make a good point that if Rainbow Six Siege could do that, then why can't other games do it? Because Rainbow Six also makes their money out of microtransactions as well. So does Overwatch with all the freaking loot boxes they do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know, your point of view does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Danny,
That's just my.
you want to talk about your overrated games?
My first overrated game was Red Dead. Red
Ooh.
Dead fucking series.
Oh, that
Holy
hurt a lot of people.
I don't feel
I,
pain, but like, yes, I actually do kind of agree.
I mean, when you peel that game away, it's just another fucking GTA fucking knockoff thing. Like, to me, it's just the same fucking thing. Instead of a car, you
First of
gotta
all,
ride a motorcycle.
So then, fair question.
Uh-huh.
would the choice is the choice necessarily Red Dead or would it be GTA?
No, I think GTA was fun for a while. I think the whole concepts behind them were good. I mean, obviously they got stale because they got saturated. The market got saturated with games like
Saints Row.
Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead and every other fucking these super open world games that are like this. I mean, it became saturated with people, but people love fucking Red Dead. I mean, Red Dead 2 came out, they made such a fucking big deal about it, and then I heard nothing, absolutely nothing. So yeah, the whole concept of the Cowboys part is interesting and it's fun, and that Western part. But if you take that away, it's a boring game. It's a really boring game that with a horrible storyline that nobody can even tell you what the storyline is. Like, unless you're a hardcore fanatic, but that's different. But anybody who's beat the first one won't tell you what the game's about, but people love it. I can play
Yeah.
poker. So
I could summarize Red Dead 1 in 30 seconds. Well, actually, in 5 seconds. Bad man did things, bad man dies. That's it.
yeah. So that's my first super overrated game. And and the one that I know Danny's gonna truly disagree with me on is Death Strand. I think Death Strand was the most
walking
overrated
simulator.
game.
I'm not gonna fight you over that because I know that's a very specific type of niche that a lot of people can feel.
I
But
don't.
go on.
I can't. Okay, I know you keep saying that. Oh, it's a Pacific niche. It's like no, it's
Yeah.
not. It's because it's Kojima. It has Kojima's name on it. If it did not have Kojima's name on it, this would not be a conversation because this wouldn't be a game. This would
Okay.
never have been made.
I'm gonna defend myself on that, but go on.
The game is really bad. I mean, it takes you like 8 hours or some shit to get a weapon. Like it's some like ridiculous thing to actually do anything.
more or
And
less.
yes, that's not the main point of the game. The main point is literally to fucking deliver pizza. But like, why would you want to play? Why would you want to play a pizza delivery game? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And it's pretty gorgeous,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they did a great job with the graphics, but that will never hold up. I mean, it's like playing an underwater simulator and go, "Oh, look, the water looks pretty." No, that's not what I'm
Subnautica.
So I'm gonna defend
Wait,
myself
so-
though about
Hold on,
Kojima
before you
though.
defend yourself,
Yeah.
would you say again? You said it was pretty, but it didn't play well. Would you say it had like the Duke Nukem effect, if you will?
Well, I didn't think Duke Nukem looked pretty either. I didn't think Duke Nukem was horrible.
Duke Nukem, it looked really nice,
wouldn't-
honestly.
You did? I actually didn't.
Wait, okay, no.
I'm gonna
What
play
did
it.
you play it on, or what did you see it on? Because on PC, that motherfucker
I'm gonna go to the
glitched.
bathroom.
Yeah,
Alright,
I played it on the
I'm
console.
gonna go with
so
Kevin.
so. Okay, you guys, holy
So
fuck.
all right,
I got
so
you.
hold on. So with the whole Kojima thing, like I do yes, it was a big deal because Kojima's name was on it, but not only because Kojima's name was on it. The thing is that Kojima's name is a big thing, so it'll draw a lot of attention to it. But that's not why the game was made. Everybody knows that Kojima makes a lot of unique gameplay styles and gameplay elements and stuff like that. So the fact that they knew that he was just gonna come out with something new and unique and different, people were willing to play it. But I feel like, this is my own opinion, I feel like if this game was made by somebody else, people would still enjoy the game for whatever reason that might be, because I completely agree that this game is not for everybody. Like this can be a very boring game. Aside from like the stealth mechanics when it comes to like fighting those ghost things, I can't remember the names of it. But the fact that Kojima's name is on it just brings more attention to it. It's not the only reason why I wanted to play the game. Like I truly feel like if Kojima's name wasn't on this and I still hear about this game, as beautiful as it looked too, on top of that, I still would have played the game. And on top of that, it had Norman Reedus as the main character. I still would have played the game without Kojima's name attached to it. And I probably still would have been disappointed because I played the game for a good maybe 20 hours. And then I never beat the game. I played for about a good 20 hours trying, hoping that like something would pick up. I loved the story. I loved it. It was so good. but I could not get past just the walking and the walking and the walking and the walking. And then the occasional stealth mechanics when you're fighting these ghosts or trying to sneak away from the ghosts. And then also occasionally when you go through the story, you fight some bosses too, which were actually a fun part of the game because now it turned into this action-oriented thing. But like I could not get past it. I ended up YouTubing like the rest of the story, and the story was fucking amazing. Like I wish that I got through it more.
So was it not angry people with that they didn't want to give you tips? Is that what the bosses were?
Say what?
Angry customers.
They were angry customers. Yeah, that was the story. Is that those ghosts were angry UPS customers?
Customers.
And Norman Reedus was the only one that can save the company.
You're the only one that can deliver these packages.
So,
but
Go ahead.
I truly disagree with that. I think Kojima's name pumped up this game to give it notoriety. People were excited because they saw the footage. Again, the game looks phenomenal, so there's no denying that. So if you're looking at the game and you're looking at it and they show the one or two shots and scenes of when he does get a gun after 10 hours of the game, they show those shots, they show the monsters, they show you sneaking away, they showed little clips and pieces of this game that could be phenomenal if it was not the game that actually came out. And then you see that, you get the hype. Oh, Kojima did it again. He's great. They got Norman Reed. He's played a character, looks just like him, whatever. You got that hype, and then people start to play it, and they finish it only because it's Kojima, and they had high hopes. Even though every single review, every single thing talked about how bad and boring the game was, but yet they
You
still
got
kind of
now
like
that's what does it call it? Confirmation bias, because I can guarantee you that that I'm sure that you have found plenty of reviews saying how bad it sucked, but I can also guarantee you there were a lot of reviews that I read that gave it like 8, 9, 10s.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
it was
Because
it was
Kojima,
half and half.
because it has Kojima's name on it, and that's it.
Because the
And I
game
think-
was still a
and I-
good
no,
game.
if I
It was
think
just a
if-
lot of people who
if
could
it
not
didn't-
do
if-
the walking sim.
If they didn't have Kojima's name on it, they would not have given
You
it
cannot-
the time of the
you-
day, and they would have
listen.
bombed. They would have completely bombed.
You
this game.
can be excited for a game. Granted, you can be excited for a game because it has a specific name attached to it. But once you play the game, you're either going to enjoy it or you're not. It's as simple as that, regardless of whose name's attached. So you cannot tell me that IGN gave Death Stranding a 8 or 9 out of 10 just because
course.
it has Kojima's name. That's bullshit.
Of course they did, and
That's
they did.
bullshit.
And they did the same thing for the last Metal Gear game.
Okay,
Kevin,
hold
Kevin.
on. Okay, so I agree with Danny on that point that it's like Resident Evil 7.
Which
Did you play Resident
What you're doing is calling these journalists unprofessional for rating a game just because of a name. But I'm sorry, go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah,
No, it's like just saying like with Drunken Guardian. Did you guys play Resident Evil 7?
Yeah.
no.
Did you play because it was Resident Evil 7?
Yes.
Did you play just
Because it was Resident Evil or Resident Evil 7?
Just because it was Resident Evil 7 itself, just the name itself, and the people that were making the game, like Capcom. Is that
Yes.
the reason that you played?
No,
it?
Because
so,
it
no, the better question is just Resident Evil in the
Resident
franchise.
Evil.
Yes,
kind of
because
thing.
it's the
Yeah,
franchise.
franchise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you enjoy the game as you played it? Just because it was
Absolutely. Oh, because it was just Resident Evil? No, because it was a great game. I hated
Okay,
Resident
that's-
Evil 5.
What?
I love that game. But
I like that one.
I know it's.
I'm sorry, not Resident Evil 5, because that was the one with Chris in Africa. I'm sorry, Resident Evil
she-
6.
Yeah.
I meant Resident
5
Evil
was
6.
amazing. 5 was
Sorry.
amazing.
I
Hold
read
on.
Resident
5
Evil
was
6.
fucking great.
No, Randy. I'm
But
not
what's
gonna
your
lie.
what's your
Bro,
point? What's your point,
man
Kevin?
hurt me right
But
there.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like if it's Kojima, I'm not saying it's just the name alone. It's just yes, it's Kojima. Yes, he basically birthed Metal Gear Solid. But I don't think people played the game and beat it just because Ted Man's name is on it. It has to be something in the game like that they played that they're like, oh, it's enjoyable after whatever amount of hours. It's like watching a TV show and then saying, oh, after this episode it gets good. You know what I mean? It's like that that hum. Yes. Brandon?
Black Clover. You tried to
Black-
fucking get me on that. So
I was
I didn't like the concept of the character because he was like annoying as shit.
I like
And then
Black
Kevin
Clover.
goes, give it like 21 episodes, then you'll enjoy it. Excuse me? Like
give it
an episode a day, that's 3 weeks. Fuck you mean? Like no.
no, but that's what I mean. Like it's like
I like Black
it's
Clover. It was good.
the you have to get over that hump, and not a lot of people are gonna go over that hump. Like they're not gonna spend like the whatever amount of hours you have to get to the good point. You know what I mean? Like that's
And
the thing
that was the same issue with Death Stranding, is a lot of people couldn't get over a particular hump through the game. Like there's a certain point in the game where it does get a bit better, but I could also understand that there's a lot of people who still can't get over the main mechanic of the game is just fucking delivering pizzas, which is essentially just walking miles and miles and miles away. But when you could look past that and you could look towards the fighting mechanics when it does actually happen, and the story mode, the story was the whole thing, because everybody knows that Kojima has a big movie is a big movie buff, so his biggest thing is like a cinematic experience. So like the story was the biggest part, and a lot of people missed out on that because they couldn't get past a particular aspect of the game.
Yeah. That's the issue. It's like it's the bump, and I guess that's where Sober Guardian felt like, bro. It's just like I don't know if you beat the game. You dropped it after a while, right? Sober Guardian.
Fuck yeah, I dropped it.
Yeah.
He dropped it in the first couple hours. He didn't even give it a chance.
Yeah,
but then I went and watched tons of video, hoping this will get better. You know, walkthroughs, skipping scenes, looking tons of stuff like that.
What walkthroughs are you
eventually.
looking for? It's walking from one place to another. Granted, that's not the best part of the game, but the story is what kept me trying to keep going.
Yes, but for that I would just put on a fucking movie. You know, if I'm gonna play, if you're gonna play a game, you want to play a game because it's enjoyable, it's fun.
I get
if
that.
I want to
part.
watch a movie, I'm gonna watch a movie. Those are two different things. So you can't. A good game, a great game, has to have both.
I get that part. I'm not.
Game. Even some like out fucking whatever game we just talked about. That game has no story, but it has a great game mechanic that you could have fun with. So you either have to have a great game mechanic or have both a story and a game mechanic. But games is the key word in this.
I'm not defending and I'm not arguing that aspect of it. I completely 100% agree with you on that, because whatever it is that you enjoy is what your focus is going to be on with the gaming.
Now, if they turn that into a movie,
or gameplay,
definitely watch it.
Sure. I just got a bit like I guess offended. I guess you want to call it that, because it's not really that big a deal. But like offended at the fact that you just disrespected a lot of game journalists out there, saying that they only rated a game high because of a name. And that is 100% not the case. I can guarantee you
all the time. It happens.
That's not true, because
it happens with the Halo series. It happens with the last
that is
Metal
not
Gear
true,
series.
because a game journalist does not have a choice of what games they play. So if I was a legit game journalist, I was working for IGN right now, I don't have a choice if I get to play a Kojima game or not. They just throw it at me if I just happen to be free enough in order to play the game. So I may not be a Kojima fan and still enjoy the thing, and then rate it a 9 out of 10. So you just insulted me right now, saying that like I just rated this because I'm a Kojima fan, which is bullshit, because there's no guarantee that you can prove that person is a Kojima fan.
It's been you can never.
You have Kojima tattooed on your butt cheek, bro.
Journalists and IGN and people and high level things of that have been known so much to get paid off by.
No.
That's
bullshit. That is hearsay. That is hearsay. 100% false. False.
Guys. Okay.
The ref is throwing the flag right now. We have veered off the community question very fucking hard.
I can keep on going with this. That is such. You're talking out your ass. You're so talking out your ass.
There's no way, because
final statements. That's it. Final
statements. The game is an extremely overrated game. It is.
Yes.
Exactly. So my point is proven as a game. The game is
no, it's not. The point that I'm trying to defend is not proven. The point that it's an overrated game, I could agree with.
Yeah, but the game, and the reason why it's overrated is because Kojima's name is attached to it. Plain and simple. That's the only reason why people like the game. The
But
only
it doesn't
reason.
mean it got a
If
good
you
score
would've took that
because
off-
Kojima's game is on there. I
Yes,
I
it
don't
did.
disagree with what you
100%.
said there. It's
People
not
love
because it's got a
Kojima.
good rating.
People love what he done, and will always love everything he fucking touches. If he could put out 2 more games like this, oh, my wife's pissed at me.
You're being loud.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It got really heated.
So
Yeah.
so my
If
So the-
Kojima put out 2 more games just like this, his name record just goes down the tube, and there's no way he can. They'll ever get ratings. Even the next game that he comes out has to be a game masterpiece, not just a movie masterpiece, because of what this game did to him.
The game didn't do
Okay,
anything to
so-
him. He still made money. He
course,
still
of
made
course
a
he's gonna
lot
make
of money.
Of course he made money. He's Kojima. He pre-sold the fuck out of this game before.
So
it
he
even
has
came out.
nothing to worry
But
about
I
with this game.
guarantee you,
It's
that
not
the
gonna
game
be a
fucking bombed
franchise.
after it came out. No, of course not. Because I guarantee you, the game bombed after it came out. The people played it, and when real reviews came out, from real fucking people. But I'll get into that later.
Okay.
It was not a good game, man.
okay. So
Go ahead, Kevin.
Drunken Guardian. Final statement, and I'm gonna give mine because
Okay.
you guys are gonna want to.
Okay, yeah, you need to let me go now. Yeah, you're gonna have to follow. You're gonna have to take over from this point.
Hold on, I'm about to put a timer on. I'll give you a minute.
I'm gonna look for the Oscar song.
So final thoughts from either Kevin or Randy, whoever wants to go first, because I think me and Danny said enough.
No. So my thing is like I would have just said like I would have asked the question of would Survive been good if Kojima's name was on it? Like would they rate it good? You know what I mean? Metal Gear Survive.
They wouldn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think even if it has just the name alone, but that's what I'm saying. A name alone, it can either help or hurt it, but it's the game itself that matters. And
Yes.
that's where I understand where Daniel was coming from. Like the pizza delivery aspect of the game was very not attractive, but the babies, you know what I mean? Like the babies made me like the game. Like I don't know, it's just like the weird things for me. Like it was very like I guess engaging, and then that's what made me want to watch the story. I wouldn't play the game because it's not my cup of tea, but I can definitely say I can watch somebody play this and enjoy the story with them rather than enjoy myself. Like,
Yeah.
like he
I would
said
I would
earlier,
never
watching
recommend anyone to play that game.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. But final statements, Drunken Guardian, go ahead. You
Yeah.
got a
Well, no,
minute.
that's it with that, because I think I've said enough, and then if I keep on going, like we'll end up in that rabbit hole even more. But
Yeah.
that like
Gotcha.
I'll just move on to my overrated games.
Wait,
okay.
before you do,
Right,
I just
Randy.
want to say one thing. So what's funny about let me ask this question. Sober Danny, did you play Metal Gear Solid 4?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
No.
Really?
I don't know. Only reason I didn't like it though is just it was a little too. It was harder than I wanted it to be. I wanted
So
to.
the only question
that was
and thing was
different.
difficulty, right?
Yeah, that one was a
Okay.
little different.
Okay, gotcha. Well, as you said that if you wanted to watch a movie, you would watch one instead. Metal Gear 4 was a movie disguised as a game.
Well, yeah.
The ending alone was an hour and a half long.
And then the after the whole, I think it was after the Ava thing, the bike portion, it was like a whole 45 minutes of like not playing the game.
Yeah.
that was the movie in of itself. So it's like I could understand points from both ends, but also like Kojima's very cinematic.
He loves his cinematic.
Even if it's like very spoofy or satirical or whatever the case, like kind of over the top. Like Revengeance was a fucking mess and a half.
Well, Revengeance wasn't his.
It
Revengeance wasn't
definitely felt like his
Kojima.
because it was like left field
No,
as shit.
Revengeance was Ninja Theory.
Revenge felt like
He didn't have his hands in that.
No, he did not at all.
So,
He looked
so
at
therefore the
the game.
game.
was like,
So therefore the game.
He said, okay,
But if Kojima's name was on Vengeance, you guys would have liked it.
I think it still would have been
wait,
rated the
hold on.
game that it was, which
Time
was
out, time out, time out,
mediocre.
time out. No, time out. What? Oh, well, all right. Me personally, considering the fact that like I enjoy mindless shit here and there, as long as it's like fun. Revengeance was actually really fucking fun. Because it was just silly. It obviously didn't take itself seriously. Even now, knowing that Kojima wasn't involved in that, like I would still say it's worth playing.
Which one is that? Is the
So-
rating game?
The rating
yeah, it's the
game,
rating game. So I
Oh,
say
that was fun.
So
I
I
did
say
like that.
mediocre because yes, it got decent. I wouldn't say high ratings, but it got decent ratings because of the action involved. That was the best and biggest aspect, and it's a huge exaggeration of the action. And that's what Ninja Theory is known for all their games is the exaggeration of the action. Why I say it got mediocre
if Kojima's
reviews.
name was on it, it would have got much better reviews. And it
No,
would have got
let me
better
finish.
fucking-
So the reason it got mediocre reviews was because of the story, the plot, which was almost non-existent, campy, and corny as fuck, and a lot of people didn't enjoy that part of it. So
personally, that's why I enjoyed it.
because of the story.
Because of how like dumb it was. That's the thing.
Yes, but that's
Like,
the point.
No, yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying.
Well, a lot of people
that's
didn't
what I
enjoy
enjoyed
that
it, 'cause of
aspect.
How campy it was.
A lot of people didn't
And-
enjoy that aspect, which is why it got like 7 8s.
Yeah, because they're expecting the whole like Metal Gear, liquid,
Yeah.
like that type of shit. Like
Metal
no,
Gear.
Yeah. So I mean, that's
but the Metal Gear series is a little bit different from the Death Stranding aspect because
yeah,
there's
it
already
is.
been established, and you want to know what's going on with these characters. You're gonna play, and even if it's not, even if it's 45 minutes or whatever. So when it's just a movie, you want it. You're already involved.
That is also
yes, no, of course it is an established franchise, but also
Exactly.
had it not been an established franchise, if it was just like a kind of one-off thing, it would still kind of be the same thing because Death Stranding has a similar vein of like being very story heavy, the same way that every other fucking Metal Gear game was.
well. We can
But it's
say
different, but it's a little different because again, Death Stranding. I mean, Death Stranding had no game. I'm sorry, there was no game. It was a great story, and everybody loves the story, and you guys keep saying that over and over. But there was no fucking game. Nobody liked the game. Nobody wanted to walk pizza fucking across. But Metal Gear did at the end of the day. Yes,
can
it had
say-
no cinema things, but it did have the same old sneaking around, killing people, fucking doing all that crazy shit.
we can say what ifs about the Revengeance game, but the fact that it's still an established franchise is a big reason why a lot of people were had their eyes on the game. Reason being is regardless of how you like the game or not, or even if you knew what the game was going to be about, people were still excited because Raiden was a big fan favorite once 4 came out. Like Raiden was the most hated character when in part
I like
2.
them in 2.
Nobody.
Hated it.
All right, so
People
I'm making another good point because Raiden was a decent character. He was an okay character. He was a green, very like what do you call those people? Like those fresh, a newbie type characters, a newbie soldier. You know what I mean? In
Green
part
worked
2,
too.
but people were pissed at Raiden because people had the expectations of always playing as Snake throughout the entire game. So just because of that alone, people hated Raiden. But once Raiden became a fucking badass ninja in part 4, people wanted more of Raiden. So
Once he
they
started
wanted
breakdancing,
they wanted to understand. They want to understand how he ended up that way. What motivated him to do this stuff? What has he been doing for these couple of years since part 2? So there was a character development that people wanted to see, which is why they did Revengeance afterwards. So Revengeance did well because it was an established franchise.
Not only that, it wasn't made by Ninja Theory. It was made by Platinum Games that made Bayonetta. So
Fuck.
that also
Yes,
could be
you're right.
So that can also be a reason. Not agreeing with Danny, but they established themselves with Bayonetta, and Bayonetta is a
High
masterpiece
action
of the
game.
High action.
they also did Vanquish. Let's not sleep on that.
Yeah.
God,
Vanquish was awesome.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there we go.
So that's
Yeah.
so they're established. Like that's probably why the game. Not only the fact that it's Metal Gear, also that it's Platinum Games that did like 2 previous bangers for like the system. Every
Because
system.
Platinum does a lot of like high octane kind of shit.
Yeah.
A lot of high energy games. I
Yeah.
swear, but yes,
Yeah.
that was.
Yeah,
that
sorry. I was
what
probably picturing Ninja Theory because they also did the that stupid ass Metroid game for
Other M.
Wii U, was it, or Wii? One of those games.
Metroid Other M, where
Yeah,
Samus was,
it was-
a lapdog essentially.
It was not fun.
So before we go down that rabbit hole, meaning
Yeah.
before I go down that rabbit hole, let's go for your overrated picks. How about that?
Yay, yeah, because what we were
Yeah,
supposed to
let's
do for the
finish.
past 30 minutes, but okay.
Second.
So okay, so the first one for me is actually the Halo franchise. I'm not crazy about the Halo franchise. I do appreciate Bungie's initial game mechanics of the dual wielding, because that's not something that you had seen much or at all actually in any video game, like the optional dual wielding of different guns. So that was a great introduction in the franchise, but the rest of the game, when it comes to like story wise and the character development and the basic core gameplay, I wasn't that crazy about it. It was a typical first person military combat shooter, sci-fi setting, and the story even to this day had never really grasped me that much. Did it ever
I think
get to anybody?
but the thing, the beauty of that game, the reason why I don't agree with you is that it recreated the genre of first person in space. I mean, there were no good games like that. Every other first person game at that time was Call of Duty type, army first shooters, more serious type games. And this was the first space game, sci-fi, crazy weapons things that came out. There was no game like it. And it established itself not because of the great storyline, but because of the game, of what it was and how it played. It wasn't 100% just your average first-person shooter game. It really wasn't. I mean, there was a lot of new that to it that people loved, and then as they kept going, they created their multiplayer, and their multiplayer was absolutely phenomenal, where it created a huge, even bigger fan base off the multiplayer than the actual game itself. So
The
I
multiplayer is a big
truly
deal.
disagree.
The multiplayer is a big deal, but I like for me, it's no different than Call of Duty, where you release a new multiplayer version every year, and it's the same fucking game. So every
Yeah,
iteration of
and
Halo
that
is
is
the
true.
same thing to me when it comes to the
But
multiplayer.
it's not like they're releasing one every year. They've only
Yeah.
released like 3 actual games, or something that one
There's
that I would
5
have
games.
considered.
Yeah.
There's 1 or 2 I
Oh,
would consider the
what was
Halo
it
game,
from
but
Bungie? From Bungie itself was 1, 2,
It
3
was 1, 2, and 3, and that.
ODST.
Oh,
No,
ODST also?
they did ODST and Reach,
Yes.
didn't they?
yeah.
No,
Yes.
I thought that was just the original trilogy. That was it.
They didn't do Reach?
I don't think
I'm
so.
not sure.
I could be
I'll look it
wrong.
up right now.
But
'Cause
but
I
either way,
swear they
besides
But
did
three,
Reach.
three, I really don't remember
so
three at all.
aside from
3
the
was bad.
aside from the core games, I mean, there's also spin-offs like those RTS games that was released as well.
Oh, War sucked.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
just
that was
I
bad.
didn't I really wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling any of the gameplay or the story at all of any of it.
For me personally, on that opinion, I'm like half in, half out, right? So they did actually publish ODST and Reach.
Okay.
The initial trilogy, ODST and Reach, I did really enjoy. Wars, not so much, but the rest of the series, I don't like how they continued it, because even then, wasn't Bungie's initial idea to finish it off at 3?
I
Yeah.
have no idea.
No, I remember there was,
So they were still
Yeah.
that was
continued to make more games, like Microsoft told them to
because
make more
they
games.
because
No,
they
no,
were
no, no,
gonna
no.
they were gonna kill
343
them
is
all.
the one that, yeah. At 3, it was supposed to be the end of Master Chief, but 343
Yes.
decided to like pick up and just kind of go with it. So at that point, they just wanted to like beat the fucking horse, like even though it was way fucking dead.
Yeah.
So you could feel that from the rest of the franchise, because personally, I don't like those. I'll still replay the rest of them. Is there anything special to it? Definitely not. If anything, it's just like the alien weapons that are good. But again,
But
I do agree with you. I
I don't think
disagree,
there
but
would be
it's
I don't
fun.
think there would be a Mass Effect of the ones for Halo.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there'd be a lot of those sci-fi shooter games, sci-fi games like that we have now if it wasn't for Halo, and Halo paved the way. Yes, they did fucking saturate their content towards the end, but they developed a lot of innovative things, like again the multiplayer, the concept of what they did. Everything is unique, and they did the best of it, and people try to copy it basically. And to this day, if you play a sci-fi game shooter in a game, they're gonna compare it to Halo. So you can't really say it's overrated when it was just valid. Now saying that the last one, whatever the last few games that came out were good, then that yeah, those are overrated. You can't say those are good because they're
Yeah.
not.
My, so my thing is I grew up with, I would just say Halo 2, and I don't. It's just nostalgia. So that game I can play it, but I truly don't feel like it's one of those like you can play it now and be like, damn, I remember this and it's so amazing. This and the third, like it does. It's like you said, it paved the way for like other space games. But like to say that it's overrated, I don't know. I just it's hard to, you know what I mean? It's hard to say that specifically with like what it did different at the time. Like it did the needle gun, it did the rocket launcher, it did the hijacking vehicles. I didn't even know about hijacking.
It did the grenade, the sticky grenades, like
sticky grenade. It did a lot of things that a lot of games weren't doing at the
grenade
time.
bouncing off the wall to hit the guy behind you.
But I'm guessing like if you compare it to games now, it's like I would just say
it did teabagging.
It did. It did dual wielding.
Did?
You can literally pick up another pistol. I didn't even know.
The dual wielding thing was a unique thing to me.
I didn't know what the name was, so I'll just call it the Lara Croft and the Tomb Raider, and I'll just run around with dual pistols. It was like the best thing ever. I don't know. I can agree with it. Well, I can understand it, but I don't know if I can agree with it. That's the thing. Agree to disagree. Agree to disagree.
So my second one, I think Randy will hate me a little bit for this one. We're still picking on Randy here, apparently. Monster Hunter.
Which one?
Any of them. The franchise in general.
I agree. I agree.
So okay.
I almost picked that, but I didn't feel like fighting with people.
Hear me out.
But you sure? Because you picked that Stranding, and you definitely fought with Danny.
So hear me out a bit first. I do play the game with Randy and Kevin, maybe like every other weekend or something like that. I do play the game. I have played quite a few of the games before, and that's mostly because there's not like I usually play these games mostly because I either want to play with somebody else, like it's more of the social aspect of it, or because I really don't have anything else to play. And I'm not saying the game is bad. The game is the game franchise is good. Especially the concept of it. It bothers me to have any game in general, not just Monster Hunter, to spend so much time for grinding for like armor and weapons and stuff like that. For the gameplay, for me, not to change so drastically. You know what I mean? Like not much of the core gameplay of the series changes that much once you like acquire like the best armor and weapons and things like that. And a lot of the new iterations of the game, whether it be when you played for the DS or the Wii or it wasn't 64, but for the Switch
PSP,
or whatever it may be, PSP as well. They haven't changed too much. Even World, like the core gameplay, like. It really didn't change that much. So I've played the same game in several different iterations for several different systems, and it's not that big of a deal for me. I would really want to hear Randy's part.
Yeah. All right. So I agree with you because the grind is very tedious, right? Mm-hmm. For example, on the Switch, I've been hunting like 6 fucking Chameleos trying to get one fucking tail. And it took me forever because I finally got one. Now I switched over to the Insect Clave. Anyhow, I understand the whole, again, grinding thing, but in terms of you saying that they didn't do much with it, they did and they didn't. So the basis was always kill X, get Y, make Z, right? That's just Monster Hunter in a nutshell. But based on which one you do play, they do change certain things. Monster Hunter World, as much as I fucking detest that one because it was so like, I don't know. It was just.
It was like Americanized version.
It was very Americanized. I fucking hated that one. They added the grappling claw, right? There's that. In the DS versions, you were able to mount your monsters. That's totally fine. But based on which ones you played, they did add and take away certain things. I think it was either 4 Ultimate or Generations, which is cross. Pardon me. Oh shit, jeez. They added these kind of like skills to the bottom screen that you could like press them, and you had 3 slots. Either you could have 3 1 slots or a single 3 slot or a 2 slot and a 1 slot based on how like whatever build up you wanted to do. And you would press on them and they would like do certain things, or you could have like certain key bindings to that on your DS. Big fucking deal. some of them are better than others. I'm not gonna like say that they aren't. Some of them have way better. Oh, for a good example though, try for the Wii. They had water
Shit.
combat, which not any other fucking Monster Hunter game has done, and
Yeah.
Try did it extremely well. But I'm pretty sure that the community wanted to bitch and moan about that and say we don't like this shit, so we don't want it back.
I,
Why
They
do you
have
think that is?
experimented because okay, first off, underwater levels have like this really stupid notoriety of just being very tedious, even
Slow.
though they're not. Right?
You know.
It in Monster Hunter Tri, the combat felt very fluid underwater. As a hammer user, which is the slowest fucking weapon in the game, it was wonderful. My brother used the lance, which with that you could basically turn yourself into a fucking living torpedo that could cut things. There's no issue with that. It's all about understanding the mechanics. It all comes down to like either you're a dumbass or you're not.
yeah.
That's basically it. With
I
sorry, go on.
no. I was gonna say, like I feel like, and I haven't played any Monster Hunter except for World and Rise, but playing Rise, like playing the two of them, it felt so weird because Rise for me felt like so slow, like extremely slow for no reason, even though it looked very pretty. And Rise, the reason I enjoyed it is because you have a mount. So like in World, I believe you can get a mount. Like you can mount a monster, but it's like a specific thing that you have to do. And this one, you just get like a
Yeah,
full mount. I love traveling fast. Basically, it doesn't have to be fast travel, but I do like traveling faster, like on an animal or anything, and that's what I enjoy about it. I don't know if they did that in every other. What in,
no, because mounting monsters wasn't until the DS, because you couldn't do that in the Wii. Um, when it came to riding them, that's actually for this one specifically in Rise, because before it was just like, oh, stab, 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 and then you do like a finisher, big fucking deal. Rise is the most mobile fucking game that they've done. Funnily enough, though, for every single iteration of like a handheld version of theirs for the DS and the Switch, they I guess like Nintendo just handles the Monster Hunter franchise way better because Sony does it okay.
not
When
great.
they had it on the PSP, it was magnificent. When they bought it over to the to fucking the PlayStation or whatever the case, I know Capcom still has their hands in it, obvious fucking Lee. But with World, they fucked it up entirely. Rise is honestly the most like you have so much fucking free range of movement. It's wonderful. But I would also like to have the skills that they had in some of the DS games. Is it overrated? Yes, again, the grind is super fucking annoying. I get that. But you got to find the era that suits you best. And that does sound kind of annoying, but also there's so many games in the franchise that there definitely is a preference when it comes down to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
But
personally, for me, if I could go back to just any solid fucking thing, I don't care about mounting monsters. Give me the fucking underwater combat again. Because when it came to being on ground, that's every other fucking game. But the fact that you could do so many things, it not just on like an X and Y axis, but to give yourself a whole fucking 360 range of motion in every fucking angle,
Yeah.
it was magnificent.
So for Danny, I want to hear Danny's opinion on it because I know you don't really play those games, but why is the
I
reason why
played.
you don't? Well,
I
like I
played
mean
some
like
of them.
traditionally, like you don't search, you don't go
No,
for buying this game. So like why?
because of the simple fact that how many games are there? Like 10 or something. Like there's a
Oh
shitload of these, right?
boy,
That's
there
crazy.
is way more.
Okay, but from beginning to the one that you play now, it all has this. It's all the same fucking game. You grind, you kill a monster, you bring it back, you make a weapon that looks exactly the same. Like it's all the same fucking thing. You
Yeah,
don't
no,
like
and I'm not saying
Danny's
anything
point.
against that.
So
I agree with
the
that.
whole point of what we all agreed that 2K7 and Call of Duty and all these games are all overrated because they're all the same fucking game. They slap a new fresh paint coat of paint on it for no reason. It's why they're overrated, and this is the same exact reason.
Yeah, no,
They
totally, of course. But also,
the
it
only
comes
reason
down to what you prefer
the
to
only reason
play.
I really played the world version because that looked and felt like it was going to be a little different, a little more grandiose of what the game was. Turned out not to be as great, but that's what I had originally thought. So that's why I chose to play that one at the time. Um, Overall, the game, every single one that comes out is always exactly the same. And yes, I don't like the grind of those games, and the same reason why I can't do World of Warcraft, and it's hard for me to do Final Fantasy 14 still, is because the grind of those games are really hard. But even if I did have the time and I put it into that, I don't feel like I accomplish anything after you come out the grind. At least if Final Fantasy or those MMOs, you put that grind into, you're doing it to finish a mission or finish a quest. You have a greater goal that makes you feel like you're stronger. And this, it just feels very repetitive, and you're just going to be doing it for no reason almost. And that's why I don't like them. And then and people like it because it was the first one when it first came out was phenomenal and nothing like it. And of course, yes, this is great, and they should make more games like it. But they needed to add more, like your water world. You know, they needed to add more concepts like that, flying, whatever. They needed to put way more than just have a new game and go, now you can ride a little mount. They don't do anything, but you can ride and go faster. And then that game, oh well, you can do a grappling hook. They don't do anything, but you got a grappling hook. Like it feels like that's all they did for each and every new game. They added something small and minute to make it go, oh, this is why this is part 2 or part 19 and a half.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. And again, like I don't disagree with any of this. I understand why like it does seem overrated, but also as we have mentioned the other titles, it most of it is mainly because it's some shit that we personally don't like play or like agree to or whatever the case. Call of Duty, fucking hate it. 2K, fuck that shit. Monster Hunter, even if you hate it, it tickles that little part of my brain that's like, yo, just keep on playing. Like, you know, you could do one more hunt or whatever the case. It's all about what the hell you want. Yeah, because one thing I did actually enjoy that they did with World, the best thing I think that they did was showing the damage that you did with the actual numbers going on per hit. So with that, it helped you understand the weapon better, as in like
Yeah,
what frames were
yeah.
active, which ones weren't. So that's the only thing I appreciated with World,
But I
and they
kind of,
kept on going with that.
but I actually kind of like cause I like the fact that you would attack the monsters. I don't know if you're actually doing damage to them or not because you're fighting a giant fucking monster with a little sword. Maybe you're not. You shouldn't be doing as
Where
much
you had to be
damage.
observant of the monster's habits and
Exactly.
yeah.
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 No, and it was more of like a kind of quality of life thing. Like it made it a lot easier for you because back then, like it all came down to you playing the game, knowing how much damage you did, knowing what elemental damage you did, memorizing these numbers, what parts were weak to certain things, and again, once you know everything that you could possibly do, it gets a lot easier. But not everyone is going to be suited to taking the time to kind of like understand these numbers and the animations and all these other things. For Monster Hunter, Jesus fucking Christ, I am like all over that like flies on shit.
Hmm.
But
Okay,
you might
so
not
just
be, and everyone else might not be, and
Go
that's
ahead.
totally fine.
Go ahead,
okay,
Kevin.
okay. So I'm just going to add. It was a previous statement that was mentioned. I love fact checking. There are 28 games. There's 26
Oh
if you
my
Wow.
include
god.
Monster Hunter 4 because it was released on, I cannot remember if it was on PlayStation 3, and then there was a DS release. So it is,
Jesus.
and Monster
Yeah.
Hunter
At
Story is the
least
20th game.
26 games.
At
Oh,
least 26, 25 if you include
stories are
story.
like the weird ones personally. But
Yeah,
funnily
the
enough, they
story.
have like an MMO version, MHO, Monster Hunter Online.
Yeah, and they also have a
Yeah.
mobile game. So just
Yeah.
wanted to let you guys know as well. Yes,
Yeah.
Stories is the 25th game. Sorry, 2026 game. But
All
there you go,
right.
28 games we
So
want to
But
play.
that's why I agree with Danny with like this is an overrated game because how can you have 26 games and not it'll be that much more innovative from like the first
well,
2 or 3? You know, like
in that own defense, I'm pretty sure you could play like the first original Monster Hunter compared to now, and you can see a
yeah,
Drastic
you
different, a
clear
drastic
could be.
A
difference.
very steady
difference.
evolution on that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I don't know. I just I don't
So
think you would see not 25 game evolution like you would
No, because
see
the thing is
from
that
part
they
one
do
and part
minor
4 of
changes.
Halo.
I feel like the Monster Hunter game itself, it's just like some of them are trial and error. Like let's see if this worked. Like let's see if the underwater worked.
Yeah.
And then they don't like the underwater. Let's do mountain. And then it's like the mountain doesn't work. Let's do fucking butt pirates. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's the game. That's why I feel like the game is so different. And I'm like I enjoy the game, but I can't say like it's like, I don't know. I feel like playing it for a while. It's like one of those things that's like you can enjoy it, but how much can you enjoy it if it's because it feels very repetitive. until you get like later on, like Randy said, that you like become fucking big brain and like everybody, all the monsters are smooth brain and they don't know what's going on. Like it's more like a knowledgeable thing. You have to be more informed than everything, your opponent basically. So it's like you have to do a lot of research on your enemy and then figure out all that stuff. But again, I agree with Sobergarden with it's 26 games, and then it's like some of them feel the same, and then some of them don't feel the same. And but it's slight. It's a slight difference. It's not a drastic difference. Like I'm gonna take a shot later. I'm gonna take a shot, but I'm gonna have to video like Dragon Ball. It's like every Dragon Ball Budokai game felt the same, but there was a slight difference. Like you felt like there was a slight difference, like the clashing and all that stuff. Like that you could say like that game drastically changed. Unless you played every iteration of Monster Hunter, you won't know the difference, and that's the thing that a lot of people like. I wouldn't understand. Like I don't know if Sobergarden understands that there's a lot of difference in like the games you've played and
But
the ones
and that also
Okay,
but
hold
that
on,
also
hold on,
goes
hold
to
on.
like
I want to cut it off here because we're not gonna have too much time left because we're done with that.
All right, you
we're
said
getting,
you want to cut it off here because then it
we're,
cut off.
we're getting
getting cut off.
what?
distracted.
What do you mean? No.
No, your
I just
mic
mean
like
I want to.
came off a bit.
I just want to mean I want to move on from this because I want to read the person here who took the time to leave a comment for the community question, and then we're just going to move on to the guest the game so we can just finish this up because we're probably going to hit 3 hours if we keep on going any further.
Gotcha.
So HR Berto 13 he mentioned that one of his games he only mentions one. The overrated game is Street Fighter V. So I really want to hear about Kevin's thought of this because he says where four had done great and brought into new gen consoles, 5 felt very rushed and oh shit, hold on. Let me read the rest of this. Felt 5 felt very rushed and like it forced the season pass and buy characters instead of unlocking them. It wasn't as fun as 4 and felt meh.
All right,
Needs
so
to buy
HR
a story,
Berto, you are definitely correct with that one. The game was extremely rushed. It was hella rushed. The online was terrible when it first came out. The game was not great when it first came out. Saying it's overrated, I can agree. 4 was amazing. They had a vast variety in genre. I mean, vast variety of character selection. 5 felt like it was favorites, and then they were like, "Oh, we're gonna add characters that have never been in the series." But then we get Balrog, we get Gil, we get fucking Oni. I'm like, you giving us characters we've already seen. Like, stop saying you're gonna bring like every one character that we know, then you can bring 6 that we don't know, and then it's like 6 that we don't know. But I'm like, nah, get out of here with that. I agree. The game is overrated. It feels more slow, but it's like it's its own thing. Like I try not to like 4, but I enjoy it. I enjoy it with
Street
like,
Fighter
hard
4?
quotation- Street Fighter 5.
Oh, 5.
I enjoy with hard quotations. I can play like maybe 2 sessions, 3 sessions, and then I'm off the game. I can't do it. The system it's too different from what I'm used to, and then it's like it's compared to 4, it's not great. Not at all.
Danny, anything for you?
I never played it. I actually have it. I bought it and then never actually played it.
Oh,
I
so you
love
never
part
played it.
4. Yeah, I love part 4, and I had a lot of fun with part 4, and I was pretty good with my
That's right.
I'm trying to
okay,
remember who you played with. I couldn't remember.
oh, I'm sorry, Blanca and Guile.
Okay.
Of course.
But again, my headset keeps dying.
Oh, hello.
Danny, you there? Did we lose
Yeah,
Danny?
I'm there.
Okay.
Oh man, for some reason my headphones keep dying. I don't know why. You turn it off. Anyway, I love part 4. I had a little fun with it, and I just heard bad things about part 5, and I had bought it, and I just never got to it. So I actually don't even know what the difference is, you know. So I can't really compare.
Okay.
A lot more slower. The animations look a lot more, I would say, clean, and not as cartoonish. Because 4 is like very cartoonish, but it was charming. I mean, the Shoyus aren't like the Ryu, Ken, and Akuma aren't like top tier characters, but now with the buffs and everything, they're top. Some of them are top tier, and some of them are just on life support.
Mm.
But yeah, but yeah.